Hey Craig, first of all, I'm sorry that I didn't respond in any way to your prior attempt to contact me or to send some of your thoughts my way. I've seen your videos before, and you know, I just overlooked them, and this happens not only to you, so don't take it personally. It's just difficult for me um, to give the attention which is due to every uh, person or idea which crosses my path. I have to pick and choose and hope for the best because we only have so much time to devote our attention to certain things. But I also want to apologize for some of the language and the terminology and the philosophical jargon or way of speaking that I sometimes employ because whenever I'm listening to someone lecture or present their ideas in a terminology which I am not familiar with, I get frustrated. But we acquire language or the ability to speak at all first from listening, and so by listening to a form of speech that you're unfamiliar with, you will eventually learn to understand it and then even to speak it. Because language is an organ of perception, I would claim. Um, primarily envisaged as speech. We speak using our mouth, the vibration of sounds which is produced by all of the organs and the vocal cords and the larynx and the mouth, the lips, the tongue, the teeth. But we also hear, and so the speaking and the hearing form a unity in this organ of perception called language. We're always already hearing before we speak. Um, and so our speaking is a way of getting to know the world, just like seeing is a way of getting to know the world. And so when we increase the complexity of our language, when we deepen the sensitivity of this organ of perception, we see certain features of reality which otherwise remain invisible to us or hidden. So, um, that said, though, there's nothing inherent to having a sophisticated vocabulary um, that allows spiritual realization. I mean, quite the contrary. Sometimes words get in the way of our spiritual realizations. We mistake the ideas and the descriptions for the living reality, which can never be contained by any description. Um, at the same time, though, in describing experience, or better, in speaking from experience rather than about it, in other words, when speaking as a form of experience, rather than trying to speak in order to objectify experience, we can actually alter our experience. So when we speak through our experience, we are using this organ of perception, language, to alter our own state of being. So, you know, when we think of what we want and uh, what we dream, and we attempt to articulate it, then we gain a degree of freedom in our world by taking the possible thoughts that we have and then making them real through our speech and our activity in the world um, with others. Now, there's nothing magic about this, um, and you spoke of all of reality being you, uh, Craig, and you're right. However, it's not as though your thoughts can control another person, because what about their thoughts? I mean, you might say that some of us are more powerful than others, and so we can, perform some sort of Jedi mind tricks on them to get them to do what we want. And to a certain extent, this is true, but um, we are never as individuals outside and above our relationship to others. In other words, we are submerged in our relationship with others in a kind of interbeing, a being amongst others prior to our being separate from others. Our sense of being individual is an achievement, mostly an achievement of language. We speak about ourselves as unique and special individuals. We have a name and so forth. And in so doing, in so speaking about ourselves as individual egos, we become one. Language creates this possibility for us. But when we recall language as that which every one of us is always already immersed in, and we see that our very ability to claim ourselves as individuals is resting upon this linguistic mode of perception, which is primarily intersubjective, which exists between human beings and binds us together prior to our separation. Hopefully that makes sense. I know it might be a little convoluted and difficult to follow what I'm getting at here, but the point is for you to speak your spiritual realization of being awake in a dream world that you can control. You must use a language which you acquired from your community, that your parents taught you, and that you only understand the meaning of because others share similar meanings. So you speak and are heard and understood by the rest of us only because we share that language. And so to use a shared language to say that all of reality is your dream and that none of us are in control of ourselves because we are under your control, it seems to me to be a bit of a confusion. And this doesn't mean I don't see what you're meaning. I'm just analyzing the implications of what you're saying. And when taken to its end, it seems to suggest that I'm not real and only you are real. But I can see where you're going with this, that the more we realize the dreamlike nature of reality, the more power we gain over what manifests in that reality. Because whenever we engage the world around us, we are helping it to arise by relating to it in a certain way through the thoughts that we have about it or the words that we speak about it. And if we change our thoughts and our words, so too is the way the world manifests changed. But we're not in control of the world. We have a certain opening with which to shape the way the world unfolds, but we do not produce the world. We do not create the material of which it is made. We merely help to shape it after it has presented itself to us. And I think wording it this way avoids this sort of, I'm going to use a philosophical word here, solipsistic way of interpreting the world, where solipsistic means that you only take yourself into consideration, and all the others, the other beings with their perception of the world, are sort of relegated to a mere illusion, and you are the only truly existing thing. If we recognize that we as individuals participate with others in the co-creation of this world, we can avoid that solipsism. But this was probably a lot of talk and mumbo jumbo for you again, but I tried to simplify my perspective as much as possible. And in so doing, I maybe only made it more complex, but I appreciate you reminding me and everybody else that we don't need a very complex language in order to speak true spiritual revelations. So thanks again, Craig, and I'll be sure to pay more attention to your videos now.